looks like most names I don't recognize. The purpose of tonight is to share with you a little bit about our school, what we believe, what we think makes us special, and then also we can answer some of your questions at the end if you have some. But I plan to talk for 15 minutes probably, go through some screens that will just highlight some information. And again, really just try to introduce you to the school. Maybe you know a lot about the school. Maybe you've heard about us from friends. Maybe you've just seen us online. Maybe you don't know a lot. But we want to make sure that when you come to school here and your kids are coming to school here, you know what you're getting. So I'm going to just change my screen here a little bit. So I'm going to start sharing with you a PowerPoint, and I'll do my best to make sure you can see that. So here we go. Okay, so we do believe this. We believe that one school can change everything. We've had enough experiences with kids coming from places where they didn't have a good experience and coming here and having a fantastic experience at Walker Charter Academy. So we think this is true for many kids. We're part of National Heritage Academies, so we're one of over 90 schools that this management company operates. And it's over 9 states, and believe it or not, they have over 60,000 students. So this is a very large district, very large organization that we're part of. A lot of backing, a lot of support. And they've gotten involved in K-8 public charter schools, and then recently they've actually taken on secondary schools, 9th through 12th. So great experience, a lot of things to offer as part of our management company. We are a charter school. And charter schools started in 1995 in Michigan. They're open to all students. They're public. There's no cost. They're highly accountable, as you may see in the news or the newspapers. They're very highly tracked. They're still a new idea. We do offer special education services. We do offer language support for students who have English as not their natural language. And we do have to follow state and federal guidelines. So a charter school is really just another option for parents. What we have used as our foundation and what we try to focus on, that we call them the 4 core, are these areas: academic excellence, moral focus, so that's character building, student responsibility, and parent partnership. And what we'll do tonight in this PowerPoint is go over each of these areas just a little bit more in detail so you have an idea what these are and what our focus on these looks like. First, part of academic excellence, we believe the most important thing in our school is to be personal, to really focus on each child, making sure that we know who they are, that they feel loved, that they're encouraged, that they have people in the building that know their by name, know their interests. And so our teachers are a big part of that, but also our support staff. They will get to know your children very well. We also, starting this year, have been able to offer one-to-one technology. So each student has their own personal device. That's been very handy this year, and we're going to continue that into next year. We do follow the progress of students, which means we assess them periodically throughout the year, and we adjust instruction as we go based on how they do. And that's been a great experience for us. It's worked really well. Our students who have gone from here have gone into our local high schools and into colleges, and now some of them have come back as teachers, but a great history of success in the area of academic excellence. We also believe that school should be more than just in the classroom. So we try to get the students into enrichment activities. Currently, we're offering art for all students. We offer physical education, gym, for everyone. Students have music in the elementary, and in the secondary, they have options like music exploration or band, even choirs offered. And technology is offered for students in kindergarten through 3, as well as having their own personal technology. And of course, we are offering Spanish currently in 2nd through 8th grade. And a lot of our 8th graders, by the time they're done 8th grade, have been able to go into 9th grade into Spanish too. That's one of our goals, is to make sure our students are ready for the next step. I'm going to pause here for just a second, only because I'm running 2 screens and I want to make sure I can let everybody in that's waiting. Whoops.
Can I ask you something real quick while you're letting someone in?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Should see back where we left off. Sorry, I wanted to make sure that person got in. Also part of our academic excellence is we talk about college here at our school. We know that not every student wants to go to college or will be there, but we do believe everyone has the ability, and we want to give them the offering. We want to make sure that college is part of their thinking so that they can decide. So first of all, that they have confidence that they are college material, and we want them to have all the academics that they need to be there. And so we focus on that. We talk about it. We have a lot of our students that will go into high school and get into AP level classes or into college credits. And we have students that go into trade schools too, but we want to make sure that they're academically strong and they can be the top of their class. Great teachers is a big part of the school. I think that when people ask me what makes our school the best or what makes it different, I say right here, we have teachers that truly care. They are not part of a tenure system, a state tenure system, which locks them in to retirement. It doesn't protect them necessarily if they're not doing the job. And so the teachers here are doing a great job. They're here because they want to be here. And you'll find the big difference is that every teacher here, I'm very confident in, they do an excellent job teaching students. Like I mentioned before, they build strong relationships, and they really pay attention to the students and what they need. They're accountable. Of course, being a state school, we do have to have a certified and highly qualified teacher, which means they're licensed. We have a lot of teachers that are interested in being here, so we've quite an intense interview process. We've offered them professional development. So I'm very confident the teachers you'd have here, you'd find would compare and I think exceed any other place that you would go. And really, again, I think that's the biggest key we have here is fantastic teachers. One of the ways that we support them is through something a little different that you don't see in every school district, and that's something called deans. These are instructional coaches, and they give the teachers individual support. We have one dean per wing, so that's about 3 deans in the building. That helps create a kind of a smaller feel. Each wing has its own kind of community, and they also can work with students and do work with students. So again, if your teachers know them, your deans know them well as well. Moral focus is one of the pillars we talked about. We do believe it's essential. Being a great student is one thing, but being a great person is really our goal. And so each month we have a moral focus quality that we talk about in the classrooms, we highlight, we reward. The month of January we just finished is perseverance. Right now we're in the month of courage. Each month has a different theme. And those words look like wisdom, respect, integrity, responsibility. So great words for your kids to understand. And again, we think that the best way to teach something is to model it. So you'll see each staff member here modeling those kind of behaviors with your students. Student responsibility, another pillar I mentioned before. We want to make sure that students are engaged in learning. That's the first and most important thing that we can do. So making sure that our lessons are fun and interesting and challenging. That's one way you can help students make great choices. But we also follow through on consequences. We believe the environment here is one of learning, and we want to keep it that way, which means student behavior is dealt with quickly. We're fair, and we take the time to make sure that they learn, but at the same time, we do follow through very quickly. With deans and I and the teachers, we can be very involved and know what's going on in the school. You're a big part of what makes this school special. It's one of our pillars, that partnership with you as a parent. You're always welcome here. Your teachers are available. They use email. They're on Facebook some. They have different accounts that you can get access to them, phone calls. They stay very connected. And we know that you're the number one educator with your child's in your child's life, and that you choose us to support you. And so we want you involved, which means when conferences come around or your children are in an activity like a concert, we expect to see you here. And our parents do that. In fact, many times you'll see grandparents here. This particular building was built in 1997, so it's over 20 years old. It's still in great shape with 3 classrooms per grade. And each classroom works together. Each teacher in the classrooms work together. So there's a kind of a team. You'll see a lot of common things happening between the classrooms. You'll see a lot of extracurriculars. Now, this has been a different year with COVID and things, but in most years, you'll have something happening here every night of the week. You'll see cars in the parking lot as you drive by because there's something going on with basketball and other sports and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, all kinds of activities going on here in the afternoon and in the evening, as well as a PTO that's very, very involved. Our parent-teacher organization raises money and then supports our building through purchasing things, but they also organize a lot of just community building activities, things that parents can do and kids can do just for fun and just to be part of the school. So you'll get to know that that organization very quickly because there's a lot of things going on with our PTO. Last things I'll mention is just in this day and age, keeping schools secure is a big, big reality that we have. One of the ways you'll see that specifically is when you come to visit, we have something called a Raptor system, or it's a visitor management system. It's actually a machine that visitors will pass their driver's license through, and that license is run against a national database for crimes against children. So it'll screen out people who, if they've had criminal acts against children, it doesn't look for anything else outside of that. It doesn't look for things that wouldn't be our business, but it keeps making sure that we know that kids are being protected and around adults that are the best adults to be around. You'll also notice that every single door is locked during the day. So the only way to get into the building is to be buzzed in. And then when you're buzzed in, if you want to visit, you'll be coming through a management system. When you come here, we hope you'll commit to the program. We'll commit to you and your children. We really do promote hard work. Kids will have to work here. It's not an easy school, but it's a fun and an exciting school. We expect students to be here every day. So attendance is important. We depend on you to drive them. So that's your job too. That's part of that partnership. And we hold ourselves personally responsible for the children, and we want our children to hold themselves responsible for their behavior. We're all in this together. It's a community, and we're all working to make sure it's the best place. Like I mentioned before, our measure of success are great people. We want students who really academically are strong and the best students going forward, but we are trying to produce great people. And we know that you're doing that as parents, and we're here to support that. And so through all these things I mentioned today, that's how we try to make that happen. And again, evidence is in our alumni. We've got amazing alumni, great academic scores, and we're real proud of the progress and the things that we've been able to produce as a school. So just to wrap this up, you can apply today. In fact, it's smart to apply if you haven't done that yet by the end of February. We do have something called a lottery. That is an allowance that is given to charter schools. And that's because charter schools don't have a boundary. They have a boundary of the state lines. So they have an ability to cap or limit the number of students that come in. If we happen to have more applications than we have available seats, then we do a lottery, which we've done a lottery every year since we've opened. All the names go in a hat, essentially, and names are picked out one by one. Spots are filled, and then anyone where there's not a spot, they go on a wait list. The interesting thing about that is the open application period or open enrollment period is through February 26th, 5 p.m. So if you apply prior to February 6th at 5 p.m., you'll be part of that lottery. If you do not, you'll go at the end of the wait list after the lottery. So it's important to make sure you get applied if you're interested at all. And then an application can be found online, or you can visit and call the office. But again, I want to repeat, seats are limited in that we are a charter school, and we do have a maximum number of students that we can take. Okay, at this point, I'll stop sharing my screen, come back to our open meet, and I'll be able to answer some questions if you have some. Barry back. Okay, I'm being told there's 2 questions. I'm going to try to get to those.
Is the school currently in person or hybrid?
Okay, first question, is the school currently in person or hybrid? We are in person with a majority of our students, and we are offering a virtual school still for students who need that and want that. So currently we have about 175 students that are virtual and over 500 that are in person. One question I see here are, what are the class sizes? In the younger grades, it's in young 5s, it's as low as 24, and that's with an aide. And by the time you get to 8th grade, the numbers can be up to 28. And most of our grades have 3 classrooms of around 25 to 28 students. We are pretty full. The lottery results the lottery will be in early March. I can't remember the exact date. March 8th, I'm being told. We will typically send information through letter form in the mail. And you can always call to find out too. And things change, so we will try to keep you up to date. And why they change is because people decide to move away, or people choose another charter school and they kind of move between charter schools. So there is some movement. Lots of protocols for COVID. One of the questions I'm seeing are, what protocol do you have for COVID-19? We've done a number of things this year, including distancing our students. We have used mask. Every student wears a mask, which is required by public schools now. In Kent County, every staff member as well. And we have an identification for close contact. So those are just some of the ones we've done. We also, some other little ones is we at one point we would eat our lunches in the gym for most grades. And right now we're eating in the classrooms to keep classrooms separated from other classrooms. Additionally, we've separated out our playgrounds a little bit to keep students away from other students so we can limit the amount of contacting. Do we have a STEM program? We have STEM components, and actually we are working towards adding some more STEM things for next year. So more to come, but we do have a lot of lab type things and activities in the classrooms, as well as a tech class and some other things that we're working on to add some more engineering type programs. I think a question here is about if someone will get a Chromebook. Yes, 4th graders and actually all students are given a Chromebook. And you'd be surprised. I was a little concerned about our kindergartners not being able to operate them, but they really can. So every student will get a Chromebook. We do not teach any other languages at this point. One of the questions here is, do we teach French or Chinese? We don't right now. We have one language teacher, and it's Spanish from 2nd grade through 8th grade, with the older grades being optional. And our students will choose them because it gets more intense. It's like a Spanish 1 class, and that'll take them into high school, and they can get 1 year of a credit right here, which is great. We are allowing some parent volunteers in the building. It's limited, and we have to go through COVID screening, so parents have to respond to a COVID screener, but we have let parents come in to volunteer in different places. One of the questions is, do you have to reapply every year? No, you do not have to reapply every year, but we do ask for your intentions every year. Your spot does not go away unless you don't show up. The other thing that should be noted is, if you have one student that is a student here, their sibling gets preference. What that essentially means is that when we have a lottery, there's really 2 stages to that lottery. Or actually really 3 stages. The first stage is we fill the seats with the students that are already present. So if your kindergartner's here and they're moving to 1st grade, those kindergartners will move up to 1st grade and they'll take the seats that are available. If there's extra seats, we put all of the siblings' names in the lottery, and we pull the siblings out for those extra seats. And then we put in everyone who doesn't have a sibling and pull those names out. So siblings do get a preference. Okay. I'm not sure. Can anyone hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you're still hearing me. Okay. I think for a second there we thought you weren't hearing me, but another question. Do we have a gifted or honors kid program? No, we try to basically make sure that every student is getting challenged in their classroom, and our teachers do a really good job of that. We do offer some advanced classes in the older grades, starting in about 6th grade. We do offer some advanced math and language arts classes. So right now, the schedule is not flexible as far as it, because we're a public school, we do offer full day every day. And so that's not flexible for students, unfortunately, but that's our program. I think I've run through the questions. I should go back and make sure, but other questions? We don't turn anyone away. So we'll have for kindergarten this year about 80. I think we have 83 spots, or no, we have 75 spots in kindergarten. We'll probably have somewhere around 130 to 140 people apply for those by the end of February, which will create a list of 30 or 40 students on the wait list. And many times we'll be able to call those students by the time August comes and say, hey, a spot either is opening or will open soon. So it's possible. We will keep you on the wait list too if you want. So if someone moves away, you can come in mid-year or after the first couple weeks. So we don't turn anybody away, but sometimes we do have to let people wait a little while. I always tell parents the best way to know about a school, besides coming to an event like this, is to actually visit. And that's something we're still offering. You can call the school and get a tour. Now we have to limit the amount of people per time. So I think it's 4 per family that can come. But I'd say if it's possible, come in and take a tour. I still believe, I think Amy's sitting here in the room with me. I believe we can take a tour during the school day, right? So you can take a tour with students here. And I don't think there's anything better that will tell you about a school than if you visit with the school, with the students are here. And in fact, I would encourage you to do that for any school you're looking at, is to see if you can get any kind of entrance or any kind of view of what the school likes during the school day. I think that'll tell you a lot of things. So I would encourage that. It's something we can offer for you. So give us a call and we'll arrange that for you. If there's no other questions, that's the information I wanted to present. I am sitting, by the way, in a kindergarten classroom. Behind me are some popcorn words that students are learning. And I could scroll around the room, but there's a lot going on here in this kindergarten classroom. Kids will definitely be beginning reading here in kindergarten. In fact, many of our students coming out of kindergarten are already reading small words, reading books. It's crazy. It's just amazing how much they learn. I think I see another question here. A couple more questions coming in. You should hear by phone or by email or mail. I don't think we'll phone your lottery results, but you should get an email or a mail. We'll make sure you know. And then if you don't make the K5 list, the Young 5 list, you have to you'll put on a wait list, and then when you're ready to go into kindergarten or first grade, you'll just have to apply again. You have to apply each year until you're in. Once you're in, you don't have to reapply. Okay, but unfortunately, because we have to do it open for all students, there's no priority. It's everyone who applies, like I said, by the end of February, gets put in that lottery. Again, the priority comes when you're already here or if you have a sibling here. Then you get very large priority. We've never had to turn a sibling away that applied on time by the end of February. Great. Thanks for the comment. We hope this was a very informational night for you. And like I said, if we didn't answer your question tonight, give us a call in the office and we'll be happy to help. We want you to know what we're about. So I'll stay on for a couple more minutes, but if you're all set, you've got your answers, feel free to go ahead and log out and have a great evening.